So how are we doing, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. As regular viewers will be able to tell, I've touched back down in the UK this morning. I'm flying back out to France on the weekend again. So welcome back to the innocuous bit of blank wall in my home in the UK. In this video, we're looking at the second round of fixtures and fantasy rugby. Many of you would have already joined the league over the weekend. We got a healthy little bit of competition going. And in fact, you know what? I am absolutely delighted, frankly, to be 71. I was fearing with this that I could absolutely plummet and all my credibility would be shot. So who have we got at the top? Just shy of 700 points there. If that is you, big congratulations and good work on everyone for the opening weekend of the Rugby World Cup. So weekend 2, so I've got 540 points and we get to change our team. So I'm going to transfer out a load of players and I think I might just almost start from scratch here. Do people go up in value? It's not like fantasy Premier League, is it? I don't think it is. So I'm just going to get rid of everyone and we're going to go through it, look at the fixtures and decide who we want to pick. And actually, I think this weekend is really difficult because apart from Australia, Fiji, there aren't too many games that from a pure kind of sporting competition standpoint that I think are quite as exciting. I think we're probably going to see quite a lot of one-sided games. So maybe that makes it easier, maybe it makes it harder. Because last weekend there were certain fixtures you could pinpoint and say, I want 3 players from this team, 3 players from that team. This weekend, I'm not so sure. So just to run through the fixtures, France, Uruguay, New Zealand, Namibia. So already I'm thinking 3 French players, 3 New Zealand players, because they'll be one-sided games. Ireland, Tonga, you'd expect Ireland to win, but I suppose Tonga could put up a decent fight. Wales, Portugal, another one where I'm thinking maybe 3 Welsh players. Samoa, Chile, I think that could be a really good game, probably harder to pick in terms of points for the fantasy. South Africa, Romania, again, I'm thinking 3 Springboks there. Australia, Fiji, as I mentioned, and England against Japan. So, yeah, I don't know, where should we start? I'll tell you what, let's start with France because their team has been named. Let's go outside backs and who could be the try scorers there. I swear, I want to get Melvin Jaminet, I quite like because he'll also do the kicking for them. 8.5 for Jaminet, that's the problem with him. Let's stick him in for now. And then I was hoping to get in Gabin Villiers, he's picked. But what was the other guy? Biel Barret, the kind of youngster that's come in. He's 7. Let's go for him for the time being. I'm going for them because I know that they are playing. Who else do we have? What about New Zealand as an outside back? Once again, I will make changes as well, probably after this video. Last week, I think I brought George Ford in for Manny Libok after the final video I made. But in terms of New Zealand, it's difficult, isn't it? Because again, I think New Zealand will rotate. And actually, that's probably a reason that a lot of these selections are going to have changed by the time that the round comes through. Who's Scotland? Scotland have a rest week, don't they? I was looking at Carl Steyn for a minute and thinking that he could possibly be an option. Caleb Clark, he could be good. I've already picked a couple of guys that are expensive. One thing I will say actually after the opening weekend is I struggled to get points really in my front row. So I'm tempted by the fact of maybe still looking for a decent hooker because they score tries, but the props not to worry about quite as much. I don't know if anyone else had the same thing, but when I was looking through, the props were not a great one for picking up scores. England against Japan, could they go with a Malins or an Arundel? Maybe. All right, let's come back to our back 3. It is difficult doing this before the teams are selected, but I'm just conscious of the fact that I'm not necessarily going to have a chance to record it before flying back out to France and all that sort of thing. So I might as well do a pretty good crack of getting it done now. Do you know who I will select, actually? Kanan Moody. Is he selected in the centres? He might be selected in the back 3, actually, because he could be a good shout. Let's go back to outside back. I think there's a good chance he might come in. 7.5. Yeah, I like that as a pick. Could change. Obviously, I'll go back through it, but that's my back 3 for now. Who else do we want? We wanted 3 South Africans, 3 French, 3 New Zealanders. What were the other fixtures there? 3 Welsh players as well. Okay, let's look at Wales. Maybe George North will be expensive, won't he? This is going to be the problem, actually, thinking about it, is all the more expensive options are up there. So Fakatava, he had a good first round. I had Ringrose in there as a 9. George North was decent as well. He's 7.5. Let's go for George North for now. And then maybe, I mean, Rico Ioane was so good, but he's just so expensive. Who else is going to have a good game? Interesting, some of the names that were a lot lower. Marchant and Tuolangi, it tells you a lot about that game that England were involved in. Who else could we go for? Leonard Brown, is he going to play? Havili, Prezi, Fouquetti. Well, Australia, I don't think will make too many changes because they've still got a tough matchup against the Fijians. Nice Alevu, he's a good option again. I know that they're playing Australia, but he was so good. All right, let's come back to the centres. Why is it always the centre? I did this in the other videos. I had to leave my centres till last. Fly half, I had an absolutely great get. Well, actually not amazing, but George Ford as 41 I thought was a great option. Can you see how they got the points that they did? Look at the stats. Why was Donaldson so high? He scored a couple of tries, didn't he? Yeah, 2 tries, so that'll be why. I do feel like the point scoring system in this isn't quite on. George Ford, what did he get? So what? No try, 76 metres and carry. So did he get a little bonus because he was man of the match? It's like you look at George Ford and like all the teams I've seen, he was the fly half of the opening round. Yet he's nowhere near rated the top options here. And I get it, it's a bit different, but I feel like he should maybe be a little bit higher. So Italy got a rest as well. They do. Yeah, okay. So George Ford's 10. Japan, I'm just not sure. Sexton, Romania. So hang on, how'd the Romanian fly half got a try assist? Actually had quite a lot of carries. France, Uruguay, Namibia. I think this round week's actually tougher, you know, because of the way the fixtures are. So Romania playing it. Do you know what? I'm going to chuck him in because I know that they're playing South Africa, but just off the back of the fact that he did pretty well playing against Ireland and got a good score, I'll stick him in there. Scrum half. I went for Gibson Park last time. I think I want to go for... They've rotated Antoine Dupont. Now, this is where like someone like Maxime Lucu could be good because I expect France to do really well, but he's not quite as expensive an option. So how many points? So budget 56.5. Okay, we need a few. I'm going cheaper options for props with the greatest respect to them. I think a big issue with props is they all get replaced quite early in the game. So who do we go for? Finlay Bealham. Is that a wasted option for an Irish player? I'll tell you what, let's go where I want to spend my money, which is going to be hooker. Who have we got up here? Jamie George as a 10 is interesting. Chile, who's Chile playing? Oh, Chile had the good game, didn't they? Chile against Samoa. Could be tempted by that. Let's stick him in there. Having just said I wanted to spend money, I've gone for someone who's a bit of a cheaper option. We can come back to it. I'm definitely going to have to come back to all of this. Let's go into the second row. Second row I struggled with a bit. I had Will Rowlands who did actually really well. I say I struggled with. The reason I say I struggled is because I had Eben Etzebeth and he obviously went off so early. So where else do we go for our second rows at the moment? Who have I got? So I've got 3 French already. Don't have any All Blacks who are going to be looking to bounce back. But I think they just will rotate. They're playing Namibia, who've never won a game at the World Cup, with the greatest respect to them. Maybe a Brody Retallick coming back from injury. They might want to give him some game time. Let's stick Retallick in for the time being. One other option in the second row. Second row is hard again because it's not guys that are obviously going to be scoring you points. Samoa, could we go over Samoa like a McFarland or a Vui? Might chuck Vui in there. Back row I did okay because I had Peter O'Mahony and Michael Leach actually. That's where I got a lot of my points last weekend. I don't have any Irish players yet for the game against Tonga. Don't have any South Africans either. Should we put Peter Steff in? Jasper Wiese maybe. Stick Jasper Wiese in. Yeah, I'm doing it now. It's so hard, isn't it? I wanted to get this video done, but just because of when teams are selected, it means you have to kind of need to be doing it later in the week. I'll definitely come. I'll try and do another one. I might just have to update my team anyway. So Leach was up there for Japan. They're playing England, and I back England to win. Let's go Omani again. He was a good option. He got a load of points, and actually he's not too expensive an option. One more shout in the back 3. So I could do with. I need another All Black really. Are they just all really expensive? Ardi Surveyor only 7. Let's go for Ardi Surveyor. Yeah, that's good. So we've got 18.5 for 3 positions. So okay, we're not too bad here. Let's go into centre first of all because that's a more obvious one where we can get a load of points. I'm tempted to go back with Gary Ringrose because I don't think Ireland will rotate as heavily. Let's put Ringrose in for now. And then 9.5 between my props. You guys can let me know if I'm being disrespectful to the props. But just looking in the first game, it's really hard to know who's going to get points. And they all come off so early anyway. And obviously, yeah, I mean, obviously the amount of changes we'll see. So we've got a couple of South Africans, couple of Irish, couple of All Blacks. Do we go for someone else from one of those teams? Or is there maybe someone we're sleeping on from some of the other nations? A Samoa, possibly. Samoa or Chile or a team like that. Wales as well. I've only got one Welsh player and I was hoping to maybe get a few more in. So I could go for some of the Welsh players. Gareth Thomas, stick him in there. So what have we got? 4.5 left. I mean, for a first shout, it's a bit better of a balanced team. Some of you will probably look at the Romanian 10 and think it's a bit risky, but I'm kind of going on last week. He managed to get a load of points and they were still playing a good team. So where do we go with our final one? Do we go Georgia? Who've Georgia got this weekend? I keep having to remind myself of all the fixtures. Have they got a rest as well? Looks like they do. Maybe we go England. Haven't got any English players again. 4.5. Dan Cole. Oh, I don't know. Not sure about Dan Cole. Okay, I think we go. Who can we get? So Tyg Furlong's too expensive. 4.5. So sort it by 4.5s and then we can go from there. That might help us a little bit. Thomas Gallo. So Dan Cole. O'Toole. Maui. Fiji, Australia. Right, I'm going Newell for now. That will change, but that locks us in 100 points. What do you make of my team? What do you make of your performance in the opening round? I will also put the code and everything for the Fantasy League in the description. I'm going to have to go back through it again. It's good fun, though. I'm encouraged by my opening round. I'm going to confirm that, though. We can lock it in. That's all the changes we've made. We can lock it in. I need to decide who's captain as well. But there's going to be changes to that. Kind of like the French options, though, that I've gone for. I'm quite pleased with those. Maybe it's time to use some of the boosters as well. Plenty of things to consider. Drop a comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And guys, I'll see you in the next one.